What is up, guys? Toast here with an Apex Legends update. Apex Legends earlier this week launched patch 1.1.1, and with it they actually brought some bigger changes than they had previously brought to their patches. They brought some weapons balancing, some champion balancing, as well as some other various updates. First, I'm going to be talking about the really cool part, which is the Legends balancing that they brought out with this patch. They changed Caustic and Gibraltar, and instead of making them smaller to have smaller hitboxes, they actually gave them a passive perk called Fortified, which gives them a 10% damage reduction, which is really nice. Both champions are now a lot more suitable on the battlefield, and they last a lot longer despite taking those extra hits because they're just thick boys. Caustic also got a change to his gas damage. Per tick, it went from 1 damage to 4, which is definitely noticeable in game. Whether you're playing against or as Caustic, you will notice this change in the hallways under bunker or in any of the rooms where his gas might be. They also increased the throw distance for his gas. Gibraltar, in addition to his passive perk Fortified, got an added boost to his gun shield health. It went from 50 to 75. Okay, so that is the two Legends that got balanced out this patch. There was also weapon balancing with regards to the G7, the triple take, and the longbow. Something that they were hoping to do was really bring DMRs back into the battlefield. I noticed upon release that DMRs were not very suitable. I didn't like using them very much because you weren't going to actually down anybody. Unless you had the Kraber and you're landing those shots, you just were not going to be killing anybody. They're going to get revived, they're going to re-heal, and then they're going to push you, and your longbow is no longer needed or good in that situation. So the G7 has a damage reduction. So they boosted the damage if you hit legs. They also reduced the weapon sway by 33%, as well as the sway speed by 25%. So it sways less and it'll sway less fast. It is definitely nice now to have a G7 with a 1x hollow on there. You can really be pinging them down pretty quickly. It's definitely something that I like running with the 301 now. The longbow got a boost to its fire rate from 1.2 to 1.6. It has an increased magazine size. So the base mag went from 5 to 6 rounds. The common mag extender went from 6 to 8. The level 2 from 8 to 10, and the level 3 10 to 12 rounds. So with those changes, DMRs are definitely more viable on the battlefield. The next guns that got changed was the Havoc. So the Havoc now has an increased base size to the magazine. The charge beam, if you have select fire in there, it's going to take 1 second less to charge, which is nice. As well as the increased damage at range got an increase. The Wingman. Now this is actually the elephant in the room when it comes to this update. I was not happy that they nerfed the Wingman again, but it got equaled out because of the increase to the DMRs and the attention they gave them. So the Wingman had a base mag reduced of 2 rounds. It went from 6 to 4. The common mag went from 8 to 6, the level 2 from 9 to 8, and then the level 3 from 12 to 10. Late game, it's still good. If you have an extended mag in there, it's not going to feel any different. It's not like they reduced the damage or the fire rate that they did on the previous update. However, in the beginning of the game, if you pick up a Wingman and you only have 4 in the magazine, it is definitely a different vibe than it was previously. So this is just something to be aware of. I like to think of it as a Mozambique. at this point. Early game, I'm not really down to get a Mozambique or a wingman because most of the time I'm just not that accurate early game. I haven't really found my flow, or maybe I'm landing my shots, but either way, only 4 bullets is not a lot before you have to change. So if someone's got a 301 and they're beaming you down, it's going to be tough to get them down with the 4 in the magazine. The next gun that got changed was the Spitfire, and they nerfed it slightly. The base damage got a reduction of 2, so from 20 to 18. And then they reduced the magazine sizes all by 5, except for the base. Okay, so base mag still has 35, but the level 1 went from 45 to 40, level 2 55 to 45, and then the level 3 from 60 to 55. So those changes do affect the Spitfire slightly, but not entirely. It's still a favorite to pick up. It's still a very good option on the battlefield. Lastly, to conclude the weapons update, they did change finally the gold weapon attachments. So the Havoc has the turbocharger, and it now has a 1 to 2 times variable hollow sight. That is huge. Hated the 2 to 4 times. Same with the 301. The gold R301 now has a 1 to 2 times variable hollow sight. And then the gold wingman now has a digital threat. So those updates to the gold weapons make them better. They're more fun to play with. The sights aren't so heavy duty on them. Really like that change. Lastly, the last big change that they did for this update was increase the speed of the ship by about 50%. And this increase really makes it different when you're jumping. You no longer have to jump so far in advance. It's really not going to yield you any kind of change in your flight pattern. In fact, you're not going to get there as fast as people who just wait a little bit more. I tend to now jump at about the 500 meter range and then approach that destination at the 145 to 150 miles an hour, I think is the units they use in the game, but the 150 range for speed coming in at my destination. So that is the update for 1.1.1. Again, the biggest ones to come out for this patch are the changes to Caustic and Gibraltar, making them viable, and the gun tweaks. Again, the G7 very strong now. The wingman early game not strong. So I really like where they're going with the game, and I'm really excited to see what other patches come out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow me on Twitch. My Twitch is twitch.tv/toast. That's TOVST. And I'm on Instagram at TOVST_. And these links will be down below as well. But thank you so much for tuning in. It means so much to me. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think I should improve on my next videos, or what I could do differently, or what I did well. I would really like some feedback. And thank you so much. Have a nice day.